Hi guys, Haru here, casting for DotALive.net. We are back. This is the Fnatic Raidcall DotA2 Cup #2 Finals, best of 3, Game 3 between Complexity and xGoSu. And with me is none other than Hector himself. Hector, how excited are you to see this Game 3?
Man, the last game was absolutely amazing. I saw some great team play, and I actually thought that the losers were going to win it, and then boom, just like you know it, this is what happens in Dota 2. You think you know something, and then all of a sudden, boom, coRock just went straight into the shrine and just took it over. It was an exceptional end to the last game. I'm really excited about the third game. Throne, you're right. Excuse me. Watch the throne, ladies and gentlemen. It's very important.
I don't know. Just I felt like xGoSu was playing pretty well all game. I was kind of surprised when Complexity was able to come in and take that bottom, but I mean, I guess it was fine for xGoSu because they coRock taking the mid racks and turn, so it kind of all evened out. And yeah, I guess we'll have to see the bans from this time. Well, not necessarily more standard because Morphling's still banned, but that's pretty much standard against xGoSu. And instead we're gonna have Lycan. So Lycan for Complexity again. Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't like giving Complexity Lycan, but I don't really know what option you have. I mean, if you look at xGoSu's 3 bans, they banned the Panda because obviously Jo Panda. They banned the Chen because, well, what did we learn like 4 months ago against Complexity? You always ban Chen. So the Invoker one is, I think I would much rather give them Invoker, to be perfectly honest.
I was actually going to say that. Because most people haven't really seen them play Invoker since Invoker is such a typical ban. I think now's the time where you roll the dice because you saw what they did to you game 1 with Lycan. I would actually take the dice and let them take Invoker.
Yeah, well, and the thing about giving them Invoker is you force them to, like, fight you and beat you. With Lycan, you force them to, like, sit around, like, running away from you all game and just taking all your outer towers and just farming a ton, and there not being anything you can do about it. And, yeah. So, first of all, as a spectator, I'd much rather Lycan not be in the game, because that shit is boring as hell. But second of all, I don't know how you can let Lycan. I feel like, in my opinion, the 2 most imbalanced heroes in the game are Furion and Lycan, and I wouldn't give up either of those to an opposing team. Although, I mean, obviously it varies based on the team you're playing. But they do get the rather infamous, at this point, team fight combo of the Enigma Darkseer. Darkseer going to be obviously amazing in general. And we kind of saw how effective Enigma was in that game. Like, to be honest, Painted Gold did not get good black holes. Like, basically his best black holes were... he had one or two good team fight black holes, actually, but not really. Most of his black holes were just on one hero or a couple times no heroes. But it basically showed that this is why Enigma is so strong now, that Malefice is actually just so strong.
Yes, his Malefice was OP.
Yeah, just, I mean, chain stunning a hero like that. I mean, chain stun is something you normally have to coordinate to do. When you have one hero who chain stuns by himself, who's a one-man chain stun, that's just ridiculous. And then, obviously, just the pushing power of those Eidolons that we talked about, and the fact that he's just so versatile. So, I mean, we once again learned that you don't really need Black Hole to be game-breaking to win the game, but who knows? Maybe they had enough not good black holes that game that they can have that this game it'll be the black holes that kind of win it for them. You just never know. That's the problem with Enigma. It's just that you have to play perfectly all game to not get blown out by him, and he already does so much.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see him picked in all 3 games. Like I'm actually very surprised that he hasn't been banned or he hasn't been overlooked at this point, but based on his strengths, I completely agree. Like, he's had a say in pretty much every matchup. The first matchup, he did a very good job, actually. It's just unfortunately they lost. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty interesting selection. I'm curious to see if we're going to see a VS this game to combat that, because the Windrunner selection. Wow.
Yeah, well, they do have the Windrunner. Windrunner is a long-range disable, so I mean, it works against Enigma at least until he has the BKB. And yep, there's that VS.
There goes the VS selection.
Complexity, pretty typical VS. I mean, VS was kind of one of their signature heroes very early on. Fluff and Stuff basically always playing VS, and just having some amazing VS games. I remember just thinking this guy was ridiculous on his VS play. So, I mean, with that, they'll be looking to grab Enchantress, I'm almost positive. Although, I don't know, with Lycan, maybe that's a little strange with the lanes, but I think it would still work. I would imagine they still want to grab Enchantress, and because just having that Enchantress VS roaming very early on is so strong. Having that, you know, usually that targeted that stun or immobilize in the case of VS or CM to go with the Enchantress once she gets 1 or 2 creeps, smoke up and either go from behind a tower or just run in from the side if the hero's far enough up. Although against the Darkseer, it's going to be tough. have to see how effective the Darkseer is at making sure the lane keeps pushed up. Because as long as he has that lane push with the Iron Shells, then if the one hero who's in the bottom, the one who's not going with the 2 smoked up, starts just running past the creeps towards him, he knows exactly what's going to happen. And we'll have to see how well he can play against that.
I actually really like that ban. I really, really like that Riki ban. A very smart ban. On a team like that, you don't want that silence. On top of everything else that they have, you don't want that silence.
Yeah, and this, man, silence plus vacuum is just absurd. It's like an Enigma combo that's actually easy to set up. Like,
yeah, it's unreal.
Allowing that to happen, but we'll have to see here if they do end up banning that Enchantress, they let it go through. That's what I'll be really interested to see at this point, and then kind of how complexity is going to step the line. And it's complexity, so there's always the factor that they could throw out something crazy. I mean, they've already done. I mean, the previous game they played, pretty standard. The game, I mean, they had the Juggernaut, but that's but at this point standard complexity, so that's not that big of a deal. Oh, and
I'm actually really surprised that they haven't even selected Shadow Demon or Shadow Shaman. Complexity loves those heroes. I'm actually very shocked.
Very good point, actually. Well, Shadow Demon not really fitting into their lineup that effectively. I mean, it doesn't really work with Juggernaut. It kind of works almost at ends with them. I mean, technically you can Disruption Soul Catcher someone and then spin on top of them. But...
yeah, but I never thought it would even work with their Spectre lineup, and they seem to do that magnificently. The Shadow Shaman, Shadow Demon, and Spectre that they used actually quite often in the, I believe it was the DreamHack tournament that just passed, the DreamHack qualifiers.
Yeah, the difference with Spectre is you don't really need early synergy because your goal, you're hoping at least just to have your support against the sacrifice lane to right-click harass the sacrifice lane out of the lane and just get the Spectre farm. So you don't really need synergy. With the Juggernaut, you're looking for early kills. So I don't know, but I mean,
now how awesome is that? You know you're good when complexity bans 2 heroes.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Morphling ban was certainly a respect ban. Then look at that, the Dragonite ban. So who knows? But the Mirana ban also is just maybe because Mirana is just a strong hero in
absolutely
xGoSu's lineup and in general. But yeah, also I mean the ban of Beastmaster obviously preventing the aura stacking from the VS Beastmaster, which is pretty classic. And one more thing against that Enigma, obviously as well. So we'll have to see at this point.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where this pick goes. Yeah, Tide's still on the board, although Tide will be kind of a little strange to see on this lineup, considering their lane composition might be a little bit weird. But in terms of his overall value, I still think I would probably take the risk because Tidehunter being on the board at this point is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's tough to say how Complexity is going to set up the Lycan. Lycan really at his strongest when he is in his own safe lane, soloing 1 versus 1, because he can really just. And actually, there's the Shadow Shaman.
And there goes the Shadow Shaman. Yep.
Maybe
I'm curious to see if he's going to go middle.
Yeah, I mean that TC was basically the one who brought Shadow Shaman into the metagame. Actually, I mean, not necessarily, but his Shadow Shaman was ridiculous. So we'll have to see if he's going to reprise that role, taking the Shadow Shaman mid, which is again what I hope for, rather than the support Shadow Shaman. But I don't know. It kind of depends. As I was saying, it'll be interesting to see how they set up the Lycan, because as I was saying, Lycan is at his strongest when he's in his safe lane, soloing against 1 versus 1, because basically he can just harass infinitely with those wolves. It's really, really strong. But against Darkseer, that's actually not going to be very effective, because Darkseer would be happy to just Iron Shell himself up and run into the wolves and kill them. So we'll have to see if they do decide to still do that. I mean, he could still be decent with it. It's just it's not going to be as effective as it might normally be, or whether they'll kind of put the Lycan in the jungle, or maybe even have support with the Lycan, forcing the Darkseer back.
And they're opting to go pure team fight. I actually was gonna suggest a Balinar pickup, honestly. I thought Balinar would have been an exceptional pickup for ex-GoSu. I mean, yeah, he kind of fell out of the metagame, especially going middle, but considering he's gonna have a Shadow Shaman that's probably gonna go middle, I kind of would have liked to see that, especially during his first night with his lineup. But the Sand King, I'm actually pretty happy to see, considering he is one of the best overall heroes in the game. He's exceptionally good.
Yeah, I'm just another one of those heroes that can single-handedly break a game. And obviously, when you have Darkseer
with the combo,
yeah, it's not really going to be single-handedly anymore. And the Queen of Pain actually is going to be the last pickup. I don't know. I mean, that's all right. Ooh. Generally, you pick Queen of Pain when you're not against a lot of disable, but the Dire does have a fair amount of disable with the Malefice, the stun from Sand King, and kind of with the Vacuum. Malefice you can blink out of, though, so still not a bad pickup, and it's going to be, I mean, they're basically conceding. If you look at most of the rest of the heroes, I mean, Lycan, Windrunner is kind of a teamfight hero, certainly, but they don't have a ton of AoE abilities, and so they kind of needed something to compete with xGoSu's enormous amount of team fight, and the Queen of Pain can certainly do that. While also, what she's going to do very effectively with the Lycan is they're both just going to infinitely split push lanes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of curious though to see now who's going to go middle, because WAP suiciding Windrunner can actually suicide. So I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with
I think
the
they'll
lane
have
competitions. Because
Fluff and stuff probably in support on the Windrunner again, and they'll either have the two of them by themselves, or the two of them will try lane with the Lycan, supporting Lycan. But I hope to see the Lycan in the jungle actually.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm at with that quad pickup. I kind of thought that was a little bit strange, because Darkseer is going to go for a pipe. I mean, theoretically, right? I mean, you normally see him go early pipe. I mean, I don't know. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, and also interesting will be basically the last hero they pick up for the Dire here. It's basically going to be the Korok hero. I would imagine. I mean, there's a chance Korok could play the... I mean, well, Korok can really play anything. He could play the same game, but no, it's going to be the Tiny.
And he did this in game 1, actually, and I kind of I felt it coming. I kind of thought he was going to go Tiny middle, because he did it in game 1, and he didn't really have a lot of success, mainly because he was sent in the tri-lane, but I think this would be a perfect time to do it, because guess what? He won't have the tri-lane at this point. He can actually go middle, and it's a fairly decent matchup, because if he catches whoever plays Shadow Shaman, probably TC, out of position, that can go really ugly really fast. That's a very good pickup. I'm actually very curious to see Korok go up against TC. We're gonna have an exceptional mid lane. We have two great players going at it.
Yeah, great mid battle. Well, and also they have, I mean, just another AoE ability, and also the potential to toss the Enigma or to toss the Sand King. I mean, the Sand King ult toss is just a ridiculous combo. Very hard to pull off, but actually even tossing Venomancer is good because the Venomancer ult. So toss is going to work actually really well with their team. That's a nice pickup. And
yeah, but Korok was doing a game 1 like a pro, man. It was incredible. It's just, I mean, despite the fact that they lost the game, I mean, he had some really nice tosses.
Yeah, well, if anyone can do it, Korok can. And so we actually do have Hannah Montana up on the Windrunner, so that means it will be a silent solo Windrunner. And actually, the Shadow Shaman will not be the one who's mid. Well,
yeah, I was actually going to say that.
Support Shadow Shaman, which makes sense because this maybe is in anticipation of Korok going mid. Generally, the reason we saw that the melee heroes solo mid fall out of the metagame, like the Night Stalker you were talking about, or Doom, even Tiny, although Tiny was never that in the metagame. Well, he was, but actually not so much solo mid, more just in whatever role you could fit him. But basically it was because if you set a dual lane up against a melee solo mid, they're basically completely screwed. Like a ranged hero is still going to get something, but a melee is just going to get absolutely nothing because he can't even deny creeps down from half and try to control the lane back. So they could actually just send maybe the Lycan mid with a support, or they could actually just send the Lycan solo against Tiny, because Lycan will actually really destroy Tiny solo, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, the Wolf Harass is so strong. I mean, Lycan is such... A lot of people don't really give Lycan the credit, but Lycan doesn't have to jungle. He can mid very effectively. He can suicide lane very effectively. He can jungle very effectively. Those wolves do so much damage early on. He is such a legitimately good hero, which is why he's typically first banned, especially if you consider his late game potential and his pushing power throughout the game. Yeah. He's just an outstanding hero. But yeah, his harass in a lane, in a one-on-one, you don't want to see him. You don't want to see him.
Yeah, I mean, at the first or even third level, it's moderate but not very strong. At level 5, it's quite strong. And once he gets to level 7 wolves, you actually just can't stay in the lane against him. He can harass basically any hero in the game out of the lane with those wolves. So yeah, he's going to be quite a force to be reckoned with. I mean, there's still a lot of potential or possibilities though, because I mean, Lycan is very strong against the Tiny, but also if the Tiny was mid, Jo would be really strong against him. If you went for that max, the 2-point Shadow Strike build early on, that would be really great harassment against the low armor Korok.
Yeah, so, against most melee heroes, I actually particularly prefer that build, because I think Shadow Strike is just such an exceptionally good.
Yeah, so I mean, there's just, I don't know, an infinite amount of possibilities for the way that the lanes could be set up on both these teams. I mean, I don't know. I can't even really begin to guess how exactly they're going to do it. If I had to, I don't know. But with Fluff and stuff and IX Mike, I mean, there's no way you're going to just set a duel of them. But who are they going to support? I mean, got to be the Lycan, I guess. And Jo mid, Hannah Montana top, and the tri-lane with Lycan bottom. But tri-laning Lycan is, not a huge fan.
I have to agree with you. I think it's interesting. I kind of also wouldn't mind to see a 2-1-2 setup with Lycan in the jungle, like you said earlier. I kind of think it's actually pretty effective considering this lineup because when Windrunner can solo legitimately, and then you can have Shadow Shaman and VS up top, they can do decently well against a tri lane. Although VS's range is really short, so I think I would prefer to see her bottom lane. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the infinite possibilities here. Like all of this is just theory craft on our part, but they can basically do whatever they want. They can almost send any hero in any lane at this point.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
team of
for the Dire, we're going to see the Darkseer bottom. We're going to see the Enigma in the jungle, and I guess it's going to be Painted Gold mid because Painted Gold's their mid player. That's no. I was looking at this and I saw him on Sand King, so I don't know. It's really good if they expect a melee mid, but against a Sand King mid against melee is actually extremely strong. He usually should win the lane, but against a range, it's going to be really tough for him. He does have the shield, so he'll be able to sustain a little bit of harassment. But again, Jo can just go the 2-point Shadow Strike build and really just kind of harass him extremely effectively. I don't know. I mean,
it kind of depends on if he goes Sandstorm build, because if he goes Sandstorm into Caustic, well, and he's gonna max Caustic, of course, you can actually relatively easy Shadow Strike, Shadow Shaman. Actually, it's. I mean, of course, at this level, I'm pretty sure Jo is not gonna just cast it at max range. He's probably gonna attack, move forward a little bit, so it's a lot faster. But you can actually disjoint it pretty regularly. So I wouldn't really suspect that might be too much of an issue, but I feel like I personally would like Sand King and Venomancer to go top lane with the jungler, and then having the Darkseer suicide with the tiny middle. I think tiny mid is really going to be effective because Korok last game got a 24-minute, or the first game, excuse me, he got a 24-minute blink, and he didn't have the levels to support the combos, and that's what he kept dying because he would try to combo somebody out of position and he wouldn't be able to kill him. And then what ends up happening is now he's out of mana and now he's having to retreat, and then a counter gank would come in. That he died a lot like that. I think they're gonna want him to have the levels. I'll be shocked if he doesn't go middle this game.
With the dual lane, he should get plenty of levels. I think it'll be fine. And I mean, against Queen of Pain, he just get harassed way too much. At least the Sand King, like you said, can do something against the harassment. I mean, Korok really can't do anything except once he gets his bottle. Obviously, he can start bottle crowing and just nuking down creep waves for farm. But that's pretty tough.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's gonna go top. I think Tiny is gonna go top.
Yeah, and looks like TC is going to be going in the jungle too, based on his items. I would assume that's the case. I mean, 2 clarities indicates probably the jungle. Good. I mean, going that Quelling Blade Ring of Protection. Yeah, shout out to Aussie, actually, who did come and cast for us in the first game, but then was willing to step out so that I could actually come join and we could have this all Dota Live thing going on here. Although I would have been happy to have him casting with me anyway. I really do love you, Aussie. Miss you, bro.
Yeah, I love Dodalicious. He's extremely good caster, very intelligent player, and he's well known throughout the Dota 1 community, as I'm beginning to find out. He has fans everywhere, all over the world.
Yeah, well, those Australians, they're just so
friendly.
Totally. Schedule the unpause. Looks like we should have a go soon here, hopefully, and we will figure out. I don't know. I like the dual lane bottom. Yeah, so sending the dual lane top against the tri lane, although it actually wouldn't have been a tri lane, but it still would have been Veno, which I think is stronger than the Rasta VS. So sending them bottom and just having one harass back the Darkseer and the other farm is actually pretty strong. So we will actually get to see, well, I'm not sure who it is that's going to be farming. I mean, they're both support players, and if you look at them, they both bought wards. So, I don't know. We'll see who's actually going to be the one taking the farm. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be Fluff and Stuff, but I don't know. I guess we'll see Fluff and Stuff's farming in this game. He had some amazing Windrunner play in the last game, so now we'll see his farming Shadow Shaman. Excuse me, not Rasta. People hate when you call them by Dota 1 names that they don't know, and I understand that too, because for someone who's never watched Dota 1 or doesn't know it that familiarly but loves Dota 2, when you refer to someone as Rasta or Gondar or Crobulus or something, people are like, okay, I don't know who you're talking about, and that's kind of our feelings caster.
I'm kind of not good with that too. Like sometimes I'll use names that I probably I still call the Shadowblade Lothars and stuff like that. Every now and again we make the mistake. It's just because we've been doing it so long that we kind of just all those names are embedded in our heads. So Guys, please forgive us if we
Yeah. Although
speak every now and again.
The one I am going to claim that I will never be held accountable for is if I'm ever casting a game, and this doesn't really matter because most of you probably, well, who knows if you'll watch him again, but bear it off now. You're like, oh god, I'm so sick of this guy. He just talks so much about nonsense. Is Outworld Destroyer. I will never call him Outworld Destroyer. You will hear me call him OD, which is my best case scenario, or Obsidian Destroyer, because Outworld Destroyer is a ridiculous name. Now, I understand why they couldn't call him Obsidian Destroyer, and I don't blame them for that, but still, he's not Outworld Destroyer. This is an absurd
I agree.
name.
I call him OD anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah.
And we have a 4-man gank. It looks like they want to actually catch Lycan early. Oh, they're blocking the easy camp for Lycan, which is actually pretty interesting, considering it's a very good strategy. And are they going to complete the ward pull? Yes, they are. Uncontested, too. They should.
Wow. Converting the wolf, too. Nice. Getting experience before the game even starts. How nice.
With the regen.
Oh. Yeah, oh, God, that's so nice. Must be nice, huh? Yeah, I saw actually, I was watching some of the Join Dota stuff, and actually in a game they counter-warded the easy camp against an Enigma, and they warded it, and he immediately counter-warded it. We do have counter-wards on, I think it was not Fluff and stuff, it's actually on IX Mike, so I'm sure as soon as they see this camp hasn't spawned, he's standing right there with the counter-wards, he's just going to place one up on the top of that hill there, and they will immediately remove the ward. IX Mike, yep, exactly. Right where I thought it would be too. Nice job, IX Mike, immediately getting rid of that ward, and it's going to do absolutely nothing. They kind of just expected what ex-GoSu would do there, and were easy enough taking it. So again, complexity always really amazing with counter wards. This is one thing that consistently impresses me with this team. Their support players are so active and understand how important it is getting rid of those wards early on, perfectly willing to make the sacrifice of a little bit extra time or a little bit extra money to always make sure they're on top of counter warding.
And support wins games. Supporting and wards and sight, those win games. Not ricing 500 GPM, 600 GPM. It's how good your support is. You are only going to ever be as good as your support are.
Oh, and actually a little action on Hannah Montana here. Only level 1 on Gale. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. koROK does have this full combo, though, but he's not going to be able to toss Hannah Montana back, and the creeps are already going to be there. So Hannah Montana is going to get away. Taking a few more right clicks from Mikey. But yeah, I wanted to say support wins games and koROK wins games.
koROK is just a beast, though, but that's a given. koROK, Dendi, like players like that can just say at any point, all right, guys, I got this, as we saw last game.
But anyway, we are going to have the Lycan in the jungle, kind of like I'd hoped he would be, so he is going to get pretty decent farm here. Certainly not as good a farm as he gets in the solo lane, but almost. He does have the ring of protection. He will head over to the secret shop, or the side shop over here, and buy up Sage's Mask real quick, and complete that Bassi, which is going to make it in jungle even faster. Although maybe, well, he has the wolves up now. Maybe they're going to go for a push here? No, you can't really push against Darkseer. There's no way they're going to do that. It looked like maybe since he was going, but he's just trying to get out of the camp. There is an illusion rune bottom. I wonder if he will grab that just for a little bit faster. Jungling, actually, it looks like, yeah, he is going to go grab that now while his wolves are clearing this camp for him. Yep, that is what he's going to go do. Unfortunately, this means Paint Gold is not going to grab a rune, but it doesn't really matter because Paint Gold doesn't have a bottle yet, and Jo actually does. Oh man, now I kind of question why he actually took that rune. Jo has gone max Scream of Pain early, so Jo actually could have just nuked down this wave and then immediately gone to go get the rune. And Painted Gold is not.
We're having a little bit of an audio issue. I'm really not trying to interrupt you, brother. And people are actually complaining. We are actually not using Raid chat right now. We're actually using TeamSpeak. If this problem continues, please let us know, and we will go back to it. The reason we had to switch it is because Harry, he doesn't have it currently, and since we're constricted on time, we had to actually swap really fast. So please, by all means, guys, if the audio problem continues, we will fix it. But for now, just bear with it. Hopefully it corrects itself.
What exactly is the audio problem that people are describing?
Apparently, they're saying we're a bit choppy and it's really bad. And the thing is, they're blaming it on Raid Chat, which is technically our sponsor.
Okay, anyway, actually, there is going to be action top. Hannah Montana getting it Malphus. Was trying to get one more right click on get the first blood on Mikey, but is actually going to go down for it. Sound is choppy, huh? Actually,
yeah, I'm sorry.
I had just had someone message me and say, have them mute the volume for half a second. Have the person who's streaming mute the volume for half a second. Maybe that'll fix the problem. Yeah, I am sorry to hear that. I actually noticed, I think it's not something to do with TeamSpeak or Raid Chat. I think it has to do with the streamer, because when I was actually watching you guys in the first game, when I finished what I was doing and was able to watch for a little bit, and I was listening, and the sound was really choppy, and I assumed that had to do with Raidcall. personally, but
and
I guess
yes,
it's
we
wrong.
are using XSplit, so then I think that's the issue. Because people in chat are saying, well, if they're using XSplit, that's the problem. Yes, we actually are using XSplit currently.
Yeah, normally you sometimes restart XSplit and it fixes the problem, but if he restarts XSplit, it's going to be difficult with the stream. I don't really know. This isn't my area of specialty. So I'm sure the streamer will be able to solve this problem somehow, and we will get back to... I'm just going to keep casting anyway, like I don't know what's going on, and I assume you guys will fix the sound problem somehow, because you guys are amazing. Anyway, so after that first blood top, if we take a look at the gold graph, there is going to be a slight dip in favor of ex-GoSu. Complexity was having a little bit more of an advantage earlier. Actually, Enigma is one level higher than Lycan. Lycan only halfway to level 6, so Enigma jungling a little bit faster, although we would expect that. Enigma, one of the fastest junglers in the game. And Cam actually thinks it's Hector. And Azu was actually saying in the chat, saying that your mic is too low as well. So maybe if you just turn up your mic, that will solve the problem, hopefully. I also keep hearing a popping sound, so I assume someone keeps turning their mic on and off, which is actually quite annoying, whoever that is. But yeah, that sound right there. Anyway, going mute on. So someone actually just said your streamer fails, mute unmute fixes it. So if our streamer can hear this, just mute unmute. Did that. Okay, so then I guess maybe it is Hector's mic. Alright, anyway, sorry guys about this. I hate to have the technical difficulties, but it is better that we get them out of the way in the beginning rather than when there's actually action going on. Unfortunately, not a lot of action right now. Hannah Montana has managed to pick up level 4 top. Meanwhile, Darkseer almost a level 4 bottom. So basically, pretty much everywhere is pretty even as far as experience goes. Obviously, Enigma and Lycan basically staying even, the solo lane staying even. Korok is level 6 though, whereas Fluff and stuff only level 5, so I don't know. I mean, basically just kind of trading blows back and forth all over the map as far as the farm goes. Except the big difference is Jo at 32-12 versus Painted Gold at 14-1, which is exactly as we would have expected. The Queen of Pain just completely dominating the Sand King in the mid.
Oh, I was actually...
Hector? Okay, well, he just cut out on me, or at least I cannot hear him, so I'm going to assume that you guys can't hear him. It's possible that you guys are actually hearing both of us talking at the same time now. Hopefully that's not the case. Yeah, I guess I will just keep going, and hopefully whatever the problem is, it gets fixed soon enough. Let's see, TC actually has almost finished up his Vlads now, and has a Sage's Mask as well. The Sage's Mask will go into a medallion, which will A, help with a fast Roche steal once he has that Vlad's up, and B, it's just a great item to have on Lycan because it's going to increase his DPS and the DPS of his wolves, while only subtracting a little bit of armor. And it doesn't actually, I mean, people think that having the medallion up on you subtracts a lot of armor, but it doesn't actually subtract armor because in fact, the medallion gives as much armor as it reduces. So you're not actually losing anything, you just stay even. So it doesn't really reduce anything that consequential, and only costs 1,000 gold, so great item on Lycan. Not everyone picks this up, it's kind of a preference, but most heroes do, and looks like they are going to try to pressure this bottom tower now. Fluff and Stuff does have his ultimate, he is level 6, so the wolves are up, and they're going to look to push. The Vlads, I assume, is actually flying out to the Lycan right now, which will give him enough health, as well as one Tango to actually guarantee this push. And Darkseer throwing down Iron Shells, but with level 6 on Fluff and Stuff, he is able to quickly nuke down the creep wave, and plus the wolf damage, they are able to very easily take it out. And they do have the Catapult here, they're actually going to want to try to protect this. Wow, Catapult just barely lives. Nice job by Axe Mike, moving up to take one tower hit so the Catapult would die. Really just, you know, it's just little things like that that make such a big difference. To have this Catapult beating on the tower while you're dealing damage to it and taking it. Small plays like that you can really learn from the pros that make a huge difference. And they are going to take this tower. Lycan actually does manage to get the last hit on it. It's a really nice play there by him. There is a ward up from the Dire, which actually gives... Oh, and actually, meanwhile, there was action mid, but yeah, there's not going to be anything too serious going on between those two heroes. But yeah, this ward up here to make sure that they have vision so the Lycan can't just walk into Roche. But if he does try to steal Roche, he can just smoke, although the Dire will be probably suspecting that as well, so it's unlikely he will try to just take Roche without anyone knowing. It's more of a pub thing. Anyway, meanwhile, last hit magic on Enigma, level 7, only 2 points of Malefice, but he's actually just going to go in with the Black Hole. Epicenter coming out from the Sand King. Sand King actually not going to have a stun himself, but the Malefice stun is going to be enough, and they do manage to pick up the Queen of Pain. Nice little two-man gank there from Last Hit Magic and Painted Gold. Good coordination, managing to pick up that kill on Queen of Pain. A very elusive and difficult hero to kill.
I'm still surprised that he didn't go.
He didn't go what?
I'm really surprised he didn't go Caustic Finale.
Oh, well, Caustic Finale really only good. Oh yeah, I guess maybe Hector is using push talk now. I'm not exactly sure. Caustic Finale only good when you're playing against melee. Because and meanwhile there was action bottom. Sorry, getting a little bit distracted about this by this talk about TeamSpeak and whatnot. Toxic Finale usually only picked up early when you're going up against a melee, because against a range it's just going to push the lane and make it harder for you to stay in there, and it's not really going to give you any additional harassment. So that's why in this case he went Girl Strike in the Sandstorm. They are going to, meanwhile, take this top tier 1 tower, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. And meanwhile, actually, Hannah Montana getting caught out by Painted Gold. Hannah Montana actually does just use the win run now. koROK might be able to toss. Yeah, the Sand King to him. Painted Gold not going to have another stun for 3 seconds. Shackle Shot going to latch Painted Gold to a tree, but only a level 1 Shackle Shot. So Painted Gold is able to pick up the Burrow Strike. Max level Burrow Strike, able to latch him. And meanwhile, though, the Lycan actually is going for the Roche Steal. I didn't actually catch him running in there, but I assume he smoked up to do it. And the Dire actually has no idea. Although Painted Gold looks like he's heading over there. Will he actually know what's going on, or is he just heading towards the bottom, where meanwhile the Enigma manages to pick up a kill on the Vengeful Spirit in return for the Shadow Shaman's kill on the Darkseer. And yeah, sorry, I was just, I mean, this TC just being in here and actually is probably going to get this Roche Steal. And it's going to be completely uncontested, so really nice pickup. Did you see, Hector? Did he actually smoke up to do that?
Yeah, yes, he did, and actually Darkseer is the one that got the kill because of the Ion Shell, and also koROK went 4-staff instead of Blink.
Oh yeah, koROK did go 4-staff instead of Blink. I mean, I guess this kind of makes sense if you're in kind of a pushing lineup, which, I mean, in this case it kind of is with the Enigma and the Venomancer. Because basically what you want to do is, you know, when you have Blink, your idea is to kind of stand far back and kind of pick someone off and initiate on them. But with when you're kind of pushing, you actually want to be up in the front lines, hitting the tower and tossing and stuff. And so the 4-staff is going to make it easier to initiate from that position. And it's just kind of make him more of like a... Well, first of all, it gives him more of escape, which is never a bad thing to have. Also, it's just having 4-staff against melee carries like Lycan is always a strong thing, because, I mean, if Lycan runs up on someone, you just 4-staff him away, and it makes more time that Lycan has to chase after. And then furthermore, it kind of just puts him slightly more into having more support utility, using 4-staff so we can 4-staff him to someone else and toss them, etc.
Yep, and you can also 4-staff somebody out of Shadow Shaman's ulti if he's trapped and does not have phase boots. So I completely agree. That's exactly why he did it, is for the total utility. But I was surprised to see it, because he didn't do that inversely in the first game. He actually did save for Blink.
Was there a Shadow Shaman in the first game?
No. There was
so, yeah.
a tiny. And
no, I mean against the Shadow Shaman. But anyway, there is going to be action bottom. Fluff and Stuff is Malphus up. Looks like he's going to try to turn around. Great ward trap by Fluff and Stuff, taking a lesson from TC, and does at the same time shackle Mikey. Meanwhile, though, IX Mike actually not able to stun him in range of the wards, but it's going to be enough. Fluff and Stuff able to get one last Aether Shock on the Venomancer, and the Venomancer does die. Double kill for Fluff and Stuff down there. And meanwhile, Lycan and Jo are taking this mid tier 1 tower, probably uncontested. Although, at the same time, Darkseer is going on the Windrunner, tries vacuuming him back, but the Windrunner just lasts a little bit too long, and he is going to make it out just fine. TC continuing to pressure the mid.
TC, exactly.
Already level 11, so he's just going to be ult and run out of here if he is in any trouble, which he is not. He's just going to back off normally anyway. koROK, meanwhile, trying to farm the wards down bottom and tossing some creeps, getting as much gold from these wards as possible, which is smart. I mean, it's just free gold that you wouldn't get otherwise, and manages to pick off every single one of them except one with that really high base damage. Makes it quite easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in chat that was wondering about the Shadow Shaman, and yes, phase boots actively allows you to walk through them, which I completely disagree with and dislike, but yes, it does.
Yes, yeah, and I agree with that. I agree with you 100% on this one. I don't think it should either. Oh, Sentry Ward coming down. They do spot Jo, but it doesn't really matter too much. They're not going to be able to get a kill on him. I think the Sentry Ward actually was just to get rid of counter wards, I would assume. They didn't... maybe they spotted the Invis rune. I wasn't actually paying attention. I'm sure someone in chat will be happy to point that out. Yeah, nice little... Oh, did she? I didn't actually watch. I mean, I don't really know. I guess they didn't know maybe then who it was, and that's why they placed on the sentry, thinking they can get the kill, because against Queen of Pain, obviously you can't. Meanwhile, TP's coming in bottom. They do see the Painted Gold in their woods, and they're looking to catch him. Plus, they really want to defend this tier 1 tower bottom, but they don't want to have TP right on top of it. Painted Gold, meanwhile, though, does just Sandstorm to disjoin away in case anything was coming at him, and they are going to look to defend top, or bottom. The TP in comes from IX Mike, but koROK with that 4-staff, he's just going to 4-staff himself out, and actually Painted Gold, Last Hit Magic looking to set up for a return. Painted Gold going to run in here, try to get a stun. If they can, stun into Black Hole. Black Hole toss! Two heroes caught, but immediately Shackle Shot are out of it. Meanwhile, Last Hit Magic taking a ton of damage. Sonic Wave coming out, killing koROK and the Enigma. Well, actually, koROK does go down to the Shadow Shaman, but still getting 2 kills. Nice Sonic Wave there by the Queen of Pain. Great positioning. And yeah, just weren't... The Complexity was not going to be cheesed by that Enigma toss. They knew exactly what was going to happen there. They split out easily enough, and one quick disable made it so that it didn't do anything. And now they are going to push on this tier 2 tower, and with a Lycan on your team, these towers drop so fast.
Not to mention the fact that in 14 minutes, he has pretty much 100 CS. He is farming out of his mind. He has 100 CS in 14 minutes on Lycan.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I mean, generally speaking, 100 CS at 14 minutes would almost be every single creep if you were in a lane. He wasn't actually in a lane, he was in the jungle, so technically the sky is the limit. Well, not really, because there are respawn times, but yeah, that is awesome farm on him, and we'll have to see. I mean, Complexity loves Necrobooks, so if there is any good... I mean, there's a couple heroes in the game who are amazing with Necrobooks, and Lycan is one of them, so we'll have to see if he does end up going for that Necrobook. I didn't actually see in in the first game how they ended up playing him. Did they end up going like the BKB build, or was it a Necrobook build, or... Hector? Oh, and I guess I lost him again? I don't really know. Well, I'm sure he'll be back to answer me soon enough about that Complexity, Lycan. It was Necrobook, okay. So, I mean, that's what I would guess, because like I said, they love to spam Necrobook, so there's not really a much better candidate for Necrobook than a...
I'm sorry, and yes,
Lycan.
That's exactly...
and meanwhile, Korok looking to rush level 3 Necro. Okay, Jo actually can blink in. Hex coming out on Korok, but Korok just force stabs himself away, no problem. And looks like they're going to work to try to get a gank actually off on these heroes in the mid. Solar just pushing out bottom as Darkseer. Solar actually kind of under leveled here, actually, only level 8. Taking a look at the levels, yeah, actually the second lowest level on his team, actually, well, the two supports, although I guess Fluff and stuff wasn't exactly a support on Complexity, are level 8, but kind of tied for the second lowest level in the game, in theory. Not really having a very good game on that Darkseer so far. They did a really good job shutting him down with that dual lane bottom and pushing his tower early on, so it just hasn't had the effect that you would normally think of or hope for. But meanwhile, Mikey has stacked these Ancients. You saw that the Lycan saw him and wanted to try to take him, but just wasn't a match for him even with his Wolves. And so now Mikey is going to take this Ancient stack and get a lot of golden experience, which he's actually going to split with the Darkseer, who, like I was saying, sorely needs it. Or maybe he's not. Maybe the Darkseer's just running through. We'll have to see. No, he's going to stay here and take this golden experience with him.
Illusion.
Oh, meanwhile, mid tower is actually trying to be denied. Oh, nice toss by Korok. Just wasn't denied fast enough, and the toss does way too much damage to your tower. Meanwhile, TP going to come in top. TC going to try to take down this tower. He has his ult, so he's not really afraid here. He wants to get this tower before he has to run out. Does pop his ult, right clicks the tower, and he's going to try to run away now. Meanwhile, Painted Gold actually, it does have a haste rune. Malif is coming out on TC. That's going to be a lot of stuns, followed up by Painted Gold stun. We'll see if this is actually enough, or if TC will be able to run away here. TC still a couple seconds left on his ult. He's going to keep running. Willie's Eidolon right click to be enough, and actually they will not be. Shackle shot, latching Painted Gold and Solar, and TC does manage to make it out there. Maybe Painted Gold should have gone for the ult. I guess he thought that maybe they get it without it, and actually Korok forced having himself up there, trying to pick off TC, but I mean, it's just like Dendi. Oh, and actually the Shackle shot's gonna latch Painted Gold. Are they gonna go here? Jo coming in from the side, does have a Sonic Wave, will think about it, uses Scream first, not waving. Painted Gold's gonna get a huge ult now, actually. Nothing to interrupt it, but it's not gonna be enough to actually kill anyone yet. He is going to go down. IX Mike might go down to the Darkseer. No, and actually the Queen of Pain manages to pick off the Darkseer before he gets the kill on the Vengeful Spirit as well. And this entire time, Fluff and Stuff is actually just solo pushing bottom. So when I said that it would be Queen of Pain and Lycan split pushing, I was dead wrong. It's actually going to be a Rasta split push. Very strong.
Yeah, like that's the benefit of having those heroes, is you have Shadow Shaman's ulti that can push a lane. You have Windrunner Quap that can tag team and push another lane. Oh, and by the way, you have that guy Lycan who can just take down anything at any point. So yeah, I mean, absolutely.
But yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, the action kind of cut me off. Painted Gold could have actually gone for an ult on the Lycan there, after he kind of stunned in with the Malif stuns and everything. I mean, it doesn't slow him, so it might not have been worth it, and they potentially might not have still gotten the kill, although I think they would have. But regardless, I guess he just thought either they would get it without the ult, or the ult wouldn't actually be enough. So unfortunately, let the Lycan live, which then led to Korok's kind of questionable decision. Korok actually does have a haste here. He's going to think about comboing Fluff and Stuff. Fluff and Stuff going to try to actually force stuff himself out, and then just going to shackle Korok. But Korok actually gets the stun before the shackle comes off, so they basically trade blows, and then Korok just runs out with his back bleeding with that haste rune. Actually, Hector, do you want to go over items real quick? It's been a while since we talked about any of those. Here? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, you are there.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see the Drum of Endurance picked up by Tiny, mainly because considering his farm has been lackluster, I kind of felt that that at this point. He needs to be building something more team-oriented. Enigma did finish his mech, and from the Dire side, that's pretty much all they have. Lycan has his BKB though, which I think is really scary at 19 minutes into the game with his Vlads, with his boots, and with his medallion.
If you see, he's actually at 485 gold per minute, which is insane.
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, so I actually did opt to go for the BKB build this time against all the disable and obviously the magic damage from Darkseer from the epicenter, excuse me, just there. I think the BKB is more important than the Necrobook this time, although obviously against the AoE, Necrobook is very strong too, because as their AoE damage destroys the Necrobook units, they take a ton of damage as well, but in this case he just wanted to guarantee his survivability and his DPS in the fights. And since he's farmed so well, that you know, the fast BKB is just going to make him basically unstoppable. The bottom tower does get denied though, but that's a very early base tower to be taken down. I mean, at 20 minutes. There's still two tier 2 towers out on the map, so I mean, it's not that they have that huge of a tower advantage, but they do have a significant tower advantage. Up, what is that, 3 towers now, actually? So, yeah, including a base tower. And if we take a... Sorry, go.
Shadow Shaman, by the way, picked up a Force Staff clearly to counter this Enigma, as long with the Vengeful Spirit. So, Shadow Shaman actually picked up a Force Staff.
Counter the Enigma.
Force Staff.
Can't Force Staff people out of Black Hole.
You can Force Staff Enigma.
Force Staff doesn't actually stop channeling spells. I guess with Black Hole maybe it does. That's a tough question. I'm not 100% on that. Well, maybe I don't know. I haven't seen that interaction because normally actually Force Staff for a long time hasn't been really a counter Enigma, but it's obviously just strong against Korok in general because you can actually Force Staff people away from Korok when he's trying to combo them or things like that, and just get him out of all the AoE damage that comes out from the Dire team. And as far as Korok's drums go, I mean, you were saying that he doesn't have good farm, so like when you don't have good farm is usually when you do go for like kind of small items like this and hope that you can steamroll into something bigger rather than just waiting a long time and saving up to get something big. Although, I mean, which would be, I don't even really know exactly what he would go for if he wasn't going for the drums. And yeah, so now we're being told to restart the stream, and I saw on Skype that they actually said that you need to restart the stream. So yeah, should probably do that. I guess you guys can just let me know when I actually have to start talking again. Yeah, oh, yeah, there is a VOD. I forgot about that. Okay, well then I will keep talking. Thank you guys for reminding me. Late at night, I'm tired. Yeah, maybe... I guess I was going to ask that question about the Force Staff on the Enigma thing, but no one in the stream is actually listening. Oh, stream is back already. So that was a quick restart on the stream, and we will actually be back in the game now. So, sorry everyone, we just had a few technical difficulties. The streamer did restart the stream now, though, so we should be back in it without any problems. And hopefully the choppiness should all be gone, and you guys can just enjoy my beautiful, sexy voice and Hector's manly brusqueness.
Regeneration.
But meanwhile, they are going to go for a Roche Steel again. They have even more negative armor with the VS here. Paint Gold actually setting up for the ult. Doesn't have the blink, but just Burrow strikes in. TC gonna pop his BKB now. Oh wow, Black Hole gonna catch just TC actually, and not a lot else. The problem is they're so well positioned that they actually can't run. Korok Force Staffs himself through and gets a great combo, then he gets trapped inside the wards. TC just right-clicking him down. Last time Magic taking a ton of damage from the wards here actually. Mikey gonna go down, and wow, that's basically gonna be a team wipe. Korok actually, no, that was a team wipe. Korok actually had to buy back. Yeah, his TP is not on cooldown, so I assume he did actually buy back there. And yeah, so that actually does, yeah, because he was the one trapped in the wards. That was a team wipe, actually, for Complexity. So even though there was a pretty good initiation there from Painted Gold, just too, I don't know, the team fight abilities kind of being too strong, just too much farm up on Complexity at this point from those towers, that it was just really tough. Korok did get a really good positioning for that combo, but it just wasn't enough. His team just really wasn't able to do a whole lot. And Roche is going to be picked up, Lycan is going to get it. Stun does come out on Korok from IX Mike, but they're just going to back up and try to take this mid-tier 2 tower with the Aegis now. No, actually they're not. Lycan's just going to go back to the jungle. He says, screw this, I want more gold per minute, guys. Anyway, so let's, the hood is actually about close to being up for Solara, but that's still a long ways from actually being a pipe, which kind of really sucks for them. I mean, I don't know, their farm in general just not been very good, and Lycan actually already picking up a Basher, so I don't know what actually he's going to sell. Maybe he'll just sell the medallion now, or maybe he'll sell the TP, although selling TP is always a risky thing to do. Does end up selling the TP. Like I said, kind of risky. It's really, you know, basically the most important item for you to have throughout the game. But getting rid of the medallion would be pretty rough because that is a nice increase to his damage. I thought maybe since they'd just taken another Roche that he would be willing to give up the medallion, since that's one of the main reasons you take it is for the Roche steal. But decided it is more important to him to have that extra DPS than to have a TP. I mean, he's fast enough anyway. He can run to anywhere he needs to be. And yeah, especially with that medallion now to lock heroes down with the Skull Basher, it's going to be pretty insane. Queen of Pain, meanwhile, blinking in on Korok. Queen of Pain actually does have her Hex up, so just so much farm up in the Radiant here. Korok is going to try to stun and then just blink out. He's probably going to make it out on time. Scream, wow. Just barely not going to be enough. And actually looks like there might be a return gank here coming from the Darkseer and the Enigma. But looks like it's not going to happen, actually, and Darkseer is just going to back up.
All right, well, everything was reset. Everybody in the chat seems to be happy, and hopefully my technical difficulties with the audio is it cleared up? Can you hear me well?
I can hear you, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so everything seems fine again. So again, that's just a lesson. I mean, I guess, well, I'll say this later, but I mean, just to streamers in general, XSplit and some other things can have problems. So just restarting the stream whenever you're between games certainly doesn't hurt. Oh, Korok Lycan gonna go for a courier snipe. Oh, just barely missing it. Nice try on the courier snipe there with the wolves. You know, Invis wolves, so strong. And I mean, TC being really smart with them, moving them around the map while he's farming now. I mean, level 16 with a Vlad's, he doesn't really need the wolves at all to help him farm. They help him farm faster, but they could be doing other things like scouting around the map and harassing heroes down, pushing other lanes while he's actually just farming in the jungle. Looks like they are going to try to set up for a kill on Korok here. Korok actually does have a point booster now, so a little bit more health. We'll have to see. Is that a 4-staff forward on the wolf? I think that must have been a misclick. Fluff and stuff, yeah, 4-staff is off. Cooldown. So he actually accidentally 4-staff forward a wolf instead of I'm assuming he wanted to 4-staff forward IX Mike. But not actually happening. With the level 2 swap, that probably would have been a good plan. But yeah, instead 4-staff forward a wolf, and they're just going to retreat back. Although IX Mike is actually pushing by himself. Korok could think about setting up on him, but doesn't realize how far the rest of his team is behind him. And so instead he's just going to farm this creep wave. And like instead, the Dire, I don't know, they've got to be looking to do something here because they have 4 of their team down here, and they're just giving Jo free reign of this top lane, and he's going to put pressure on this tower. Tower is still full health, but this isn't a good idea unless you're trying to do anything. It's just a waste of time when you're not getting farm.
Enigma did just pick up his blink, and Korok seems to be going staff, so he's going to hopefully try to be able to counter push this with his ult staff.
Yep, Korok actually within range of IX Mike now, does not actually 4-staff himself off in time, but will 4-staff from the ward trap potentially. No, there's going to be Shackle. Ooh, actually the stun coming off on Fluff and stuff from right-clicking in short range. Nice from Korok there, but they do manage to get the kill anyway. And meanwhile, they are pushing in top with 3 heroes, including the Lycans. They will be able to deal a fair amount of this damage to this tower potentially. We'll have to see. The blink is up, so blinking in actually, but only one hero going to caught. The Shackle shot will latch him out and actually Hex as well. TC BK being up should finish off IX because last time Magic does finish him off there, and now see TC just doing a ton of right-click damage, going after Mikey as well. Mikey is going to get surged by the Darkseer, so instead TC's going to turn back around, and now he's going to actually have to back out because they don't have creeps. No, actually he is going to go in because the creep support still registered, so it's actually not backdoor protected. Darkseer is going to throw up his ult there. He's got to vacuum them in now, actually, if he wants to do anything. Maybe waiting for his team before he vacuums in. Vacuum doesn't really go to the center of the wall, actually, only hitting the Queen of Pain into the Darkseer ult. So not the most effective ever. Well, now Lycan has to...
And notice the split push bottom.
Oh, yeah, and at the same time, actually, yeah, the split push is coming in bottom. There's not even a tower there. Painted Gold does Burrow Strike for Korok, going to be content just to combo down IX Mike, but IX Mike's so tanky even for just a support, and that's all they're going to get. Meanwhile, Lycan is going to try to apply a little bit more pressure here top because he knows that most of the Dire have rotated bottom. He could just send his wolves in here, but the creep wave is demolished so quickly by Iron Shell that it's not just worth throwing the wolves away. So instead, he's just going to have the wolves tank up the creeps basically while he farms all his health back in the jungle because you're Lycan, you have no downtime.
Yeah, so I'm actually really shocked to see that they did not get that split push Raxer. It seemed like Lycan was enough of a distraction to get it, but to be honest, I can't relatively see a way that they're not going to get a Rax here in the next few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, they just have so much split push that it's going to be really
Absolutely
difficult for xGoSu to defend everywhere. Tiny does pick up his items now, though. He has the rest of it on the courier. So
and the Abyssal Blade, I believe, is going to be picked up by xGoBasher, or by Lycanthrope already has a xGoBasher.
Yeah, Abyssal is pretty strong. He is still not with a ton of health, actually. I mean, 2,000 health isn't low, certainly. I mean, he has a strength hero, but it's not exorbitantly high either. So he is still susceptible to burst damage combo if they can take him out before he manages to get his BKB up. So, I mean, with the Abyssal, he will have that. I mean, that is still a possibility for xGoSu, but given that he has the Aegis, I couldn't see him not doing that. I mean, it seems such an easy thing to do, and it allows him to still maximize all his item slots since he seems really intent on keeping that medallion up so that he can increase his damage with that negative armor, rather than having to go for a more expensive item like Deso or Assault Cuirass.
Yeah, but I just think it's the stun maybe on an Enigma or somebody else trying to get away, and the fact that he's just going to do an amazing amount of damage to these towers.
Yep.
And Raxes and all this other good jazz.
You're not wrong, and it's going to be, I don't know, this is going to be a really tough hole for xGoSu to climb out of. They are down 12,000 gold, and let's take a look in the experience. Yeah, 18,000 experience maybe. Doing everything they can. I mean, Mikey has been constantly stacking these Ancients. I don't know, the issue, well, a lot of these heroes for xGoSu have really been a non-issue this game, but the Venomancer has really been a non-issue. I mean, it just didn't really work out for him early on. He didn't get the levels he needed, basically. They didn't get the kills that he wanted, so his levels haven't caught up, and Venomancer is certainly a level-dependent support in the sense that he does need, I mean, he needs 2 levels, basically, like a lot of good supports, like Crystal Maiden, she really needs 2 levels. Venomancer is same. With 2 levels, he has basically a stun, but then, I mean, you usually want more levels for his wards, and then most importantly, for the mid-game, you want more points for his ult, and he only has level 1 ult still, which is just not doing a lot of damage. We actually do only have the 1 BKB, I think, for the Radiant, yeah. No BKB on Fluff and stuff, and no. Oh wait, no, actually no, there is one on JO, so 2 BKBs up, 1 for the Queen of Pain as well.
They actually have 3.
Do they have one on? Oh, there is one on Fluff and
stuff
stuff now as well. So yeah, that's what I was saying. I didn't think he had one, but actually he does. So yeah, I'm wrong. And so yeah, actually the Venomancer ult not really going to do anything at this point then. So yeah, his levels don't even matter anymore. That hero just doesn't do anything at this point. And Complexity is going to go for a push in on the bottom racks. And I really can't imagine xGoSu being able to defend this, to be perfectly honest. Their AoE combo is going to have to work perfectly. Actually, they're going to catch Mikey out first, and this is just so poor. Really risky by him. He saw them pushing up there. He should have been just back a while ago. Maybe he should have TV'd out, and he's going to be forced to back out, which on a farm-starved support is really going to hurt.
Yeah, this is going to be really dangerous, because Lycan does have his Aegis.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see there's any way that they're going to save these racks. They're going to try to defend here. Nice vacuum, but again, not getting him into the ult, and a little bit slow from his, but it didn't matter. Mike doing a good job staying back. Korok does get the combo, but it doesn't matter. TC just doing way too much damage. Shaft and Shotgun both Enigma as well, and just damage coming out everywhere. TC just completely destroying people. Does get a copy of himself made by running through the wall, but oh wow. That's actually a first hit bash. That wasn't an activated Abyssal, so he gets a first hit bash to actually finish off the Venomancer. And Queen of Pain is going to blink after Panic. Panic does just invis to get out, but that's bottom racks down, and with the Lycan, they're just going to rotate towards mid. No, actually, they're going to rotate towards top because the top tower is so low. Korok is here with his tree, though, and he tells them you're not going to come, but then he decides, well, maybe there's more of them, and me and my tree are just going to go into the forest.
Yeah, Lycan himself just does too much. He just has too much base damage now. He's just going to just roll right through everything in here.
Yep, and the lesson of the day is you ban Lycan.
Yeah.
Should come as no surprise. Good talk coming out. I mean, Mikey, for those of you who don't know, was ringing for Complexity for a while, and I mean, Mikey plays support, Mike plays support, so kind of a little bit of mutual respect from both these teams. And you know, he was joking around a little bit about after they won the last one, saying that he's learning from the best, stuff like that, and now saying he has a long way still to go before the master or the student has become the master, or style. Anyway. The GGs have come out, and we are seeing the disconnects, so well played by both teams here. Complexity just, I don't know, they just got Lycan, basically, and they just won with Lycan. Complexity showing that they certainly know how to utilize Lycan, which is always a strong thing. And that was one of the big things that just kind of won them the game, the fact that xGoSu was always having to chase them around the map. And that kind of put them always one step ahead, even though xGoSu, none of them really played badly, and generally played quite well. It's just, the Lycan factor and just good overall coordination and strategy execution from Complexity. So, congratulations to Complexity for winning the Fnatic DotA2 Cup number 2, Fnatic Raidcall, sorry. Again, actually, Hector, you're the best at this, so I'm going to let you give all the shoutouts to our sponsors.
Yeah, Steel Series, Azo, MSI, Raidcall, of course, we were using it. We didn't end up using it this game. Sorry for the technical difficulties, of course. Also, please vote for the MVP. Your vote does count. It's facebook.com/Fnatic. Vote for, obviously, the MVP, and they'll win a cool backpack. Not to mention, right now, if you download Raidcall and you enter the Fnatic group, ID is 133714. You can win your chance at a Fnatic White Retro t-shirt. It's actually pretty pimp. I've seen it. It's actually really, really, really nice. Also, Dota Live is giving out free keys on their Twitter at Dota Live Net. So today's the last day for the contest, so please be pending. Once again, for those of you that need the instruction, Fnatic is giving away a backpack. So vote for the MVP on facebook.com/Fnatic, and they're also going to give away a white retro t-shirt. Download Raidcall, and the ID is 133714. The group is Fnatic. It's been a pleasure, Harry.
Yeah, thanks for having me to cast this, guys. It's been a pleasure myself. Always great to get to watch two great teams like this.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that we had the audio trouble.
Yeah, technical difficulties
during the finals.
Game, but hopefully we will get those cleared up anytime in the future. Again, this was DotaLive.net. You guys can check us out. I am Hari, and this was Hector casting with me. Thanks for watching us. It was a pleasure, and we hope all of you have a great night. Take care.
Good night, guys.